We are red. Red is on.
Okay, good afternoon and welcome to the Thursday, June 28th, 2018 Selectmen's meeting. We all stand and say the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shortly, we're going to have employee recognition. We're just going over all the paperwork right now, signing things, get that taken care of, and if anybody has any questions or something.
Where is it?
It's kind of like...
Where's the thing to sign?
No, we could probably, I think that's a good idea. Why don't we get the minutes done? So...
Oh, did I?
Yeah.
Oh, that's, okay.
That was last. Okay. Let's bring the minutes of Thursday, June 14th to the table for discussion and review. Everybody have those? Anybody have any amendments or questions? We have a motion and a second to accept the minutes as written of Thursday, June 14th, 2018. Any further discussion? Being none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? So moved. Next on our agenda is the employee recognition for... Now, who's this?
Gee, I don't know.
Lisa Auger?
Older. Lisa.
Oh, sure.
Auger.
Gee.
Yes.
I guess we for you. Congratulations, and express our sincere appreciation for 15 years of employment with the hotel, which is really great.
Thank you very much.
Speech, 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 speech.
Right? Oh, okay.
Thank you.
Well, it doesn't seem like 15 years. It's gone very quickly. It's been a very good 15 years. And,
15 more? 15 more?
Well, no. Definitely.
Only if they open up a secretary.
And and really what makes me do my job is everybody else. And I can't do my job without the officers and town hall and the things that they've made it so easy to perform well at my job.
Drinks for Lisa.
Onions?
Yeah. You guys send these? Well, now that I see you, but at least I see. Thank you all for coming. Thanks.
You give me my full necklace.
20 years.
Where would you like us to wrap it?
Just pearls. I tried the diamonds. You said pearls.
No, I said gold.
Okay, gold paint.
Yeah, that's easy enough to pay.
Return the platinum then. Yeah, why don't we take a quick recess for a couple minutes here? Except a few people.
Recess. We are red. Red is on. We're back from recess.
Okay, so welcome back. We just finished up the employee recognition for Lisa, and we'll present. The next thing on our agenda, unless there's something else we want to slide in here, was the non-public personnel employee evaluations and PD non-union employee evaluations.
We just hire them and have to go.
And hiring. Is there anything else before we go?
Well, I'd like to ask Selectman Constantina to recuse herself from the discussion of the deputy tax collector town clerk.
No, thank you.
Then let me read from an email I received at 3:22 from Margaret Burns. The general rules that a conflict of interest requiring disqualification will be found when an official has a direct, personal, or pecuniary interest in the outcome. That interest must be immediate, definite, and capable of demonstration, not remote, uncertain, contingent, or speculative. And that cites Atherton versus Concord, 109 New Hampshire, 164, 1968. As the court in Atherton explained, the reasons for this rule are obvious. A man cannot serve two masters at the same time, and the public interest must be jeopardized by the acts of a public official who has a personal financial interest which is or may be in conflict with the public interest. Certainly, the personnel, evaluation, and compensation of one's spouse creates both a personal and financial interest. And further, the town's Tilton ethics policy. On the second page, code of conduct. Public servants are expected to anticipate and avoid incidents of potential conflict or the appearance of conflict when a matter comes before them that involves a spouse, close family member, or partner, and to refrain from participating in any discussions or taking any action with regard to such a matter.
I do feel very uncomfortable.
Then I suggest then we hold this meeting with evaluations off until next week, till that I refer to my own legal counsel, because I'm not recusing myself. I haven't for the last, how many years has she been here? I've not voted on any raise whatsoever. I'm not engaged in that, so
But you have
I've done
asked
nothing.
No, just one-
Excuse me, let me talk. So if you would like to postpone this and continue this to next week so I can seek legal counsel as you did, then I'm fine with that. Otherwise, I'll remain here.
I think that under the circumstances where the town of Tilton's ethics policy, which is signed by Selectman Constantino, should be acknowledged and adhered to,
But
which is clear.
I think that there's a challenge of interpretation, and if it was to go off 1 week, what harm would be done till next week? There wouldn't be any harm done, because a raise or potential stuff would just be,
You know how stressed I am just coming up here?
I'm just trying to do everything the right way, so nobody has a thing. Any legal type issues on it, and I think 1 week will allow it to resolve itself and get the proper opinions. If everybody can just wait like just one.
It's not going to be earth-shattering if you hold off a week,
No.
but it isn't.
May I have a copy of that, please?
Everybody
We
should
are,
have had a copy.
The ethics policy is.
You'll give everybody a copy?
No,
So-
she's talking about this.
Oh,
I'm talking about from Margaret Burns, the
Oh,
letter from Margaret
I can
Burns.
forward it to all.
So is everybody okay with the 1 week on selectmen?
I think it's,
I'm also requesting a letter of from the email from Margaret Burns.
So if we could get a motion to table for 1 week from somebody?
Motion to table for 1 week?
Motion to table.
Second.
Okay, motion to table for 1 week, and all those in favor say aye.
No.
Aye.
Aye.
please let the record
Opposed?
show that Selectman Dawson voted no. I see no reason to
And it
detain it.
just,
It is what it is.
okay.
Thank you, Cindy.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman, can you see to it that we get a copy of that letter from Mr. Chair?
Sure.
John?
COPY of,
Thank you.
so if we can let the letter be part of the minutes of the meeting, or the record of the meeting, and then give that one. Okay, the next thing.
I would
we-
like them as soon as possible so I could address it with my attorney.
Yeah, we can make copies.
Thank you. I'll return this back to you, Gail.
Do you want to keep it in your folders? or-
No, we should give them all back to you. They're
No, I
not
don't want
public
anything to do with it,
documents.
thank you.
All of those should go back to you for safekeeping. Thank you.
Okay, so the next thing was PD, non-union employee evaluations.
Sorry.
Was it Dari?
Land use.
Oh, yes. Land use, so want to go into non-public? So,
Was there
we
a
need to get a
motion?
motion.
Did you cite the reason for going into non-public?
I'm waiting for a motion stating that I can make a motion to enter into non-public session pursuant to RSA 91-A:3, paragraph 2, as it pertains to. Could I get some assistance with this opinion?
I don't have my stuff.
Would that be,
It would be dismissal, promotion, or compensation of any public employee or disciplining of such employee.
Compensation. Thank you, Joe.
And then you ask for a roll call
Oh,
vote.
yeah.
okay, so roll call vote?
Did you get a second?
Second.
Second. Roll call vote?
Dawson, yes.
Scanlon, yes.
Fogg, yes.
Constantino, yes.
We are red. Red is on. Time being 7 o'clock.
They haven't even brought up.
Okay, welcome back from our non-public employee evaluation time of the year. The next thing we have is the selectmen's report.
We're going to seal the minutes.
Make a motion, we seal the minutes of the non-public as they pertain to personnel and evaluations.
Second.
A motion in a second.
Permanently?
Permanently.
Second.
Motion second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Okay, next thing we have is the selectmen's reports. And we start with Pat last week. This and this.
All right, so you all have we were talking about it earlier, the performance guarantee and development agreement. Just so everybody knows what it is, was recommended by the engineer that the planning board hired for one of our site plans for development up on School Street. And it essentially is a performance bond, so look it over. See if you have any questions. John Radigan, the attorney representing the planning board, wrote it, but still read it to make sure that it makes sense. And you know what I didn't notice? If there are any dollar figures in it. But anyway, read it over. And we can pick it up next week.
Can you explain something to me, please?
I do.
If performance guarantee, when a new development of any kind, are they always required for site development? Was he required when he redid the Country Meadows? Was a performance guarantee
No,
required?
because the essential structure was there, the sewer, the water lines, the roads, was
So-
essentially already there. This is going from raw land
Yeah.
to bringing in.
So like when Gaudette builds across from Lowe's, that's like raw land going to a new development?
Yeah, and that could require
A performance,
bond.
okay, thank you.
They don't all require them, there's just certain,
Well, what kind of constitutes requirement? If,
it can be a lot of things. It usually depends. So, for example, this project
yeah,
will take a long time to complete.
okay, got it.
So that's one thing that can trigger it.
I had that question the other night, but I didn't dare
The
to
chief
ask it.
left.
Other things would be, like, if they were not to continue, that the town would have to step in and continue the job at our expense.
Right,
So
that's why, because it would take so long.
Okay.
we'd have
They
to,
could be abandoned,
Yeah, so we'd have to correct it,
yeah, so there's a lot of different things.
right?
So I just wanted to give you an update on where I was about the river accident, who's gonna pay for what. I got a phone conversation with William Cass today. It was very, very good. It was very positive, as a matter of fact. I pointed out to him that that wall predates the town. We're what, 1869? It predates New Hampshire DOT, which actually was state engineer. In 1905, they created the state engineer position. So I'm sure the wall was built well before all of these entities. It was built before the Winnipesaukee River was a state river. And pointed out to him that the town has no ownership of any property there. That sidewalk that's there undoubtedly was the sidewalk the mill workers used going to the mill. It doesn't go anywhere, it goes to the mills. It doesn't connect to anything we have. And I kept reiterating to him that we don't own the land, we don't own anything. The sidewalk, there was no damage to it because we tore it up, it doesn't exist. It's not there. I also suggested to him that it is a state law, whether it's to retain the earth, the land, so that Route 311 can be where it is, or it's retaining the waters of the Winnipesaukee River. Either way, whether it's DES or DOT, it's the states. He is looking back through old plans. One of them he's looking is the intersection plan when they redid the Park Street intersection. And I said, well, all of this, yeah, it predates that. If you look on our tax map, and I talked with Dari about this today, it's very unclear on the tax map who owns that. But I looked through the FYI file, and I find that one of our residents has claimed ownership of the property between Route 3 and the river. And that would be the owner of the retail complex that used to be the Tilton Selectmen's Belt.
I was going to ask how that played out.
Yeah. So, that's interesting.
So that-
But the town has no ownership. We don't own any land. Now, our sidewalk is gone. So he's going to get back to me next week is where it stands.
So,
Did he mention that the ownership of the resident, the commercial business?
He states clearly in here that he is the owner of that property.
Did Bill Cass mention?
No, because I just saw that tonight when I was sitting
Okay.
there. But he asked me who owned it, and when I looked at the tax map, it shows a line, a solid line,
Right,
on the far western end
yeah,
by the driveway, and it shows, it butts up against property that the Bureau of Rails and Trails at the state owns. So I said, there isn't even a number in there. And then when Dari looked at it, he saw the same thing. He was going to get back to me in the beginning of the week, and if he had to discuss it with Lauren. But the fact is, it's not the town's.
right.
It's not town property. So, and
He didn't disagree though, did he?
let's just say he didn't completely agree because, and I said to him, I said, I'm really at a loss because this is an insurance claim. Regardless of who owns what, it's an insurance claim. So there shouldn't be any monies out of your coffers being wasted because it should be reimbursed by insurance. No. Oh, did he? No. I talked with Brock earlier today, and he had said that our fire chief, I guess at the meeting last week, downstairs, wanted Jersey barriers to be put up. But those Jersey barriers can be a couple of tons, and we don't have equipment that will load them.
The Kawasaki loader?
Yeah.
there's some,
I thought
That should be.
I thought Brock said that he could go over and get the Jersey barriers to.
He didn't expect them to be the 10-foot ones.
Oh, okay, got it.
Oh,
Got it.
as something,
These are 10 feet long.
okay.
I'd like to comment
They're
on that.
tons.
If, prior to this, we had pipes with large openings in them, which weren't really sturdy. Now we have fencing, barrels, and all that, fluorescent, do not pass, and all that. Why is that not sufficient?
Well,
Because,
that's what Brock was saying. It was the fire chief that requested, and I have to respect the fact that he's very concerned about the opening, but Brock pointed out exactly what you did. What we have is actually better than before the accident, but
I think the
You
state
have-
should put some type of cones in the parking spaces so that people who are walking around that won't get hit by cars.
Well, I think we have to remember, regardless of what we put there, even with the pipes, we've had people fall in the river fishing, kids, because they're hanging on them, and they weren't secure. Even if we put up Jersey barriers, people can climb over them, and undoubtedly will to get to the river to fish, and they can go on the river.
I would respectfully disagree. At least the pipes, the fishermen can lean and fish and do all that. They're gonna try to do it around the monstrosity we have there, you're gonna get people falling over and getting hurt. At least the barriers give you something to lean against, so you can still fish and do whatever.
There was a man and a son, well, a young boy, I should say, fishing inside the snow fence the other day, and the lure got hooked on the back of the snow fence, and he was trying to take it off, but they were inside the snow fence.
They fish from the railroad tracks with no rails.
And they do, and so how are you going to stop that?
You're not, but, I mean, this board can certainly, make an order and tell our Public Works Director that we want Jersey barriers there or something better than what we have.
I think when we had the issue with the bridge over to the island, when we had that issue and someone fell through, it was the expectation of the liability. We knew that there was an issue. We did our best to protect the area, and we did it quickly, swiftly, for the safety of the people. What people do to climb over, go around and in, they're taking that at their own risk. We can't help, we can't duct tape. Stupid people can't be fixed with duct tape, I'm just saying. We just can't drag the people out of there and say you can't be in within the snow fence because it's unsafe.
Who pays for the barriers that would eventually
The
be
state
reimbursed?
put that there.
It would be reimbursed, I mean,
Yeah,
quite
we would.
We
frankly,
ask the state to
Yeah.
put
Yeah.
barriers
How
in.
about the weight of those on the pipes?
They can't, they didn't have the equipment last week to bring the Jersey barriers down, and Brock thought the state, and Brock thought he could go up, but he wasn't, as Catherine said, he wasn't prepared to have the 10-foot lengths with the loader.
And we
he-
shouldn't
Right.
What
really
happens are-
utilize our resources for that if the state was gonna pay.
Well, on a safety issue, we would have gotten reimbursed on it, number one, but in a safety issue, we need to
Yes.
follow through on that.
I think Brock mentioned something today about getting in touch with maybe Becca Bellucci or somebody and getting a cost of whatever, the people that are experienced in this type of
To
thing.
move things like that.
Pick
Why are
up.
you wasting
Why
our
are we
time?
spending money? No, we should be
This
trying
It's
to.
all, and we're gonna get reimbursed anyways, because it's
But
an
it's our
insurance
time and
thing.
money.
it's not our claim, but I'm right with John, I mean, and Pat, I mean,
got a
no
lot
matter
of
what we
stuff.
put there, people are gonna go around.
True.
They're gonna go
Well,
around.
fishing piers, they jump off. You tell them not to, put signs everywhere, the fences are there.
Okay, so leave it
But,
at
I mean,
that.
we could notify, DOT and suggest,
Tell them we don't feel it's adequate or safe.
that we've already had people on the other side, we certainly could do that. I met with Brock today at Ice House Pond to move that gate, which he will do. We're gonna move it down, so that, if the police wanna go in and inspect, or I'm gonna go in and inspect, the car would be off the road, and then you can safely open the gate. He, asked me, he wants to trim back on the roadway, because right now you could go down there in a motor scooter and scratch your car. But he wanted me to ask them to trim back. Does anybody object if I ask for that permission to trim?
Yeah.
You
Go
do?
for it, yeah.
No, you can't, 20 feet from any buffer. It's a wetlands buffer. We just went after,
It's not a 20-foot buffer,
there's wetlands, not wetlands in there.
100-foot buffer.
We have a 20-foot in our town.
No, it's a 100-foot buffer,
And why did we,
because we made a mistake. I'll forward you those documents.
Yeah,
we have a 20-foot buffer for,
no, it's 100 feet now.
Because of the
State
size,
or-
no, it's in our ordinance, because of the size of the pond, it's 100 feet. Every other wetland
100
is
feet that we can't cut within.
20 foot.
Yeah. We
Right.
can't cut within
But where he wants to trim is well away from the pond.
more than 100 feet.
Yeah, this is the roadway.
but more than just the pond, there's a little pond, when you go down there, there's a wetland like this, and then there's the other part.
That's beyond where he wants to turn. It's the very top entrance at Sherwood. That's, if you go there, you can see it's like this. Once you get to, before the gate, which is at that little pond, it opens up like this. It just opens right out. It's the very first entrance. It's not more than 30 feet, I don't think. But it doesn't, it's not something that has to be done right now. If you want to go down there and look,
I would have,
Well, I
like
can-
Paul, go down and take a look, or somebody from the Conservation Commission, have them take a look to make sure it's not
you want
invasive
to contact
species.
them and ask them to do that, and then I'll ask again next week.
We've got invasive species down there, because they put burning bush in
There is some invasives.
quite a bit. It's horrible. That's
Yeah,
down there.
it is. It's too bad.
And the reason being is we're enforcing some violations or alleged violations directly across the pond on that.
Yep.
I would hate to have somebody that wasn't quite certain of what they were doing do
Okay.
something we just told somebody else not to.
That's absolutely fine. My next thing is really a question. The park repairs, who is coordinating getting that done? The granite posts,
Joyce?
rails, the light that needs to be put in down in the bottom, all the work in the park. The Public Works has put the bollard in, which is really awesome.
Saw did you put that thing?
They put it in this little ball on the top. It's a toe-edge ball, football. It looks really cool. But anyway, if we could find out who's supposed to be coordinating and getting that done, it would be nice to. We went to plan annuals in there and we had to pull back because we realized that what we're looking at is where one of the granite posts goes.
I'm not a plant.
Not a plant. I'm good. I'm done. Thank you.
That's it, Peter?
Old Home Day, Saturday, be there or be square.
Pat?
I just have one on the Old Home Day Citizen of the Year evening. Deb did mention that the Old Home Day Committee is doing something. They're doing a bench in honor of Dennis Allen because he was so active in the Old Home Day process for years and years and years. And they're going to do a park bench out at the Pines. So if the town wanted to donate something to that, I'm bringing it up. And I know we're going to do a tree. I do know that we're going to do a tree, but I didn't know if you wanted to be a part of that process as well. And also I wanted to mention it so that if people are watching this, if you wanted to donate to the park bench, get in touch with Deb Shepherd or anyone on the Old Home Day Committee, which is Joe Jessamine, Scott Haskin, who else? Carol Cross, a couple of people, but Deb Shepherd would kindly take your donation. That's it. I don't know if the town wants to do
One
that.
more thing, anyone in the public interested in serving on the Zoning Board of Adjustment, we do have a couple of openings and would gladly see someone come in and fill them. Planning Board also, but the priority now is the ZBA, but both boards.
And Ashley?
So as you guys all know, I will be resigning as selectman. I want to make a public announcement that I will be moving out of the town of Tilton. Therefore, will no longer meet the requirements to fill the position. So my last meeting will be July 26th. And I appreciate everybody who supported me through this process. It's been a wild ride. No, it was a great experience, and I'm moving for personal reasons, nothing to do with the board, and I wish I could still do it, but that's it. Thank you, guys.
Thank
It's been
you.
an honor working with you, Ashley.
Thank you.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
Yep.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
This is the required, if we have to stay.
I'm not saying.